As with the first day scrape steps, frequent testing of the reed for response and intonation is critical. Be aware that, depending on the thickness of the blank and the results of the reed tests, you may need to implement some second day scrape steps during your first day scrape work. Remeasure the first third of the reed with the micrometer. Again, these will be the first, second, and third eighth-inch areas. Using the same filing technique as before, scrape these areas to achieve or get closer to the measurements for a finished reed. Now scrape the channels. An equaling file is preferable for channel work, although it can also be done with the 3 square file. Using the front edge of the file, remove cane in the channel, a little at a time as shown here. You can always repeat this process to remove more cane. To work the opposite channel, rotate the mandrel and reed 180 degrees, supporting the reed with the palm. This will ensure the same file angle on both sides. The reed thickness should taper from center to the sides, but only slightly. File the channels until they are 1 to 2 thousandths of an inch thinner than the center or spine. Test for response and intonation. If, after testing the reed, you are satisfied with the results, you may play the reed a little or let it rest for a day or so before continuing your work. As a reminder, it is fine if the reed is still slightly flat in pitch. In fact, the pitch may rise after the reed has been played a bit and/or after it has rested for a day or so. You can always clip the reed later to bring the pitch up to center. If the reed continues to be resistant and/or sharp in pitch after you have worked on the first third, including the channels, check the middle with the micrometer and scrape as needed to reach or get closer to the measurements for a finished reed. Test reed for response and intonation. Follow the same procedure for the back third of the reed, although less filing in this area is typical. Thinning the back third too much may adversely weaken the reed. Also, for now, stay clear of the rails in the back third. Test for response and intonation. The rails of the first and second thirds of the blade may now need scraping, unless they're already thin. Work very carefully and incrementally here. A little scraping at the rails will go a long way, and you can always scrape more later if necessary. By the way, I usually determine how much to scrape the rails by sight rather than by using a micrometer. This is because the far edges of the reed are quite delicate and could be damaged when using a micrometer. There should be a gradual taper through the rails from the back to the tip. Also, as a general rule, take just a little cane off at a time in this area. Filing the rails too much can quickly and negatively affect the reed, resulting in a weak, resistant, and stuffy response. While the reed generally will have a center-to-side taper, this may not be the case in the back third of the reed. In other words, the rails near the collar may be thicker than the middle of the back. Insert the plaque into the reed and check the rail taper by sight. Work very lightly with a 3 square file. Keep the file flat to the reed surface rather than using the front edge as in previous steps. Because of the change in contour from back to front, gradually alter the file angle to conform to the blade shape as you file from front to back or back to front. At this point, any of the previous steps, whether from the first or second day scrape, can and most likely will need to be revisited. Use the micrometer frequently to know where to scrape. Test often for response and intonation.